Hey, what's up guys? It's Fruity. Welcome back to the third episode of Let's Play Mega Man 2 Atomic Fire Only. Last time, took down Airman and Bubbleman, taking down the elements of air and water there, and got the good old bird effect when entering Bubbleman stage after I messed that up with Airman stage. Anyway, in this episode, we'll be moving on to our fifth Robot Master, Quickman, Robot Master number 12 in the numerical order. Bit of a small quirk here with Quickman is that his little mugshot here actually goes slightly outside the borders of the square. You see the boomerang attached to his head goes a bit out of the square there on the top right. Very, very unique. There's only a couple of other Robot Masters in the series where that is the case, and it was because when they were originally making this game they wanted to hint towards a better, greater rivalry between Quickman and Mega Man. You know, like they have a bit of a closer, more personal relationship than these other 7 Robot Masters, you know, more of a personal hatred of each other, I guess. And I suppose to reflect that, Quickman is pretty much the most difficult boss out of the 8 Robot Masters. Very tough, very random, and his stage also quite famous for being very tough and unforgiving if you've not played this game before. My favorite Robot Master in the game for sure. I really do like Quickman's design. He's got pretty great stage music too. It's rather it's catchy, but it's got a certain melancholy feel to it. It's very, in a way, a sort of upbeat theme with a sort of sad backstory to it. I don't know how to describe it. Which I guess maybe they intentionally did again to reflect that more personal relationship between Mega Man and Quickman. I don't know, but anyways, let's jump in. There he is, the man of quickness. He doesn't have a mouth on his sprite, funnily enough. Always found that a little bit humorous. Anyway, so his stage, it's like some underground lab or something, and as you see, there is a life here right off the bat, which we can use item 1 to get, or we can even use item 2 to get it. I didn't show off item 2 last time. But basically this is it. It's a little vertical platform, comes out, and when it reaches the wall it explodes. But I can also use it to get up here. Pretty sneaky of me. Yeah, you can get that life with all 3 of the items, but I don't have item 3 yet, so can't really show that off. As for the other weapons I've gotten, I might as well show them off too. I didn't show off the Metal Blade, but here it is, M for Metal Blade. Yep, shoots out saw blades, and you can shoot them in every direction, and it uses almost no ammo. As you can see, my ammo bar up there in the top left is not going down much. And it works on a lot of enemies, most enemies, and it's a weakness of many bosses. It is very overpowered. Here is the air shooter. Shoots 3 shots out vertically upwards. Pretty good for hitting enemies above you, but the Metal Blade's good for that too. It works really well on the purple Sniper Joe walkers, which you saw at the end of Heatman stage. It works really well against them. And then the Bubble Lead, which just goes along the ground. It works against some enemies, but for the most part it's not that useful. I do think it looks pretty cool as it goes down a slope like that though. Definitely. Anyway, here we are. We're gonna progress now finally with our Atomic Fire. More of these little wiggly blue things. They're not much of a threat, honestly. And here we have probably one of the most empty screens ever created for Mega Man. There's pretty much nothing on it. But when we get to the next screen, oh, we're gonna meet the gimmick of this stage, my friends. We're gonna meet the gimmick. Meet the Force Beams. These giant yellow lasers which come out of the walls, and guess what happens if you touch them? That's right, instant death. Touch them, 1-hit kill. You've really got to know what you're doing. You've got to have the stage pretty well memorized to avoid them. And if you go down the left side here, or right side, sorry, you get all these lovely power-ups. Very, very nice. Now we head into an unusual part of the stage here. It goes all dark. Oh, what is this? And there are these fire enemies that light it up. Hotheads, I think they're called. And they shoot tackle fires from Fireman stage in the first game. Interesting reference, but I have no idea why these guys are in Quickman stage and not Heatman stage. It's pretty weird. I guess they had some space to fill or something. This seems to work pretty well, even uncharged against them. There's a jump here you gotta look out for. You don't see it in the dark, but yeah, there's a jump there. But now we get into the truly famous part of the stage, the Force Beam Gauntlets of Death, as I like to call it. 7 screens of non-stop force beams flying at you from the left. They fly at you from the right. 1-hit kills, all of them. And you cannot slide in this game if you do know about the sliding in Mega Man 3 onwards. So there's no way of going faster than your basic run. You pretty much gotta have these screens memorized, my friends. There's really no way around it. You gotta spend a good hour or so figuring out these screens. Luckily, I went through all that pain the first time I played Mega Man 2. All the deaths! Luckily, the first part of this stage is quite easy to get through, as you saw, so getting back here isn't too bad after game overing. But, yep, I make it look easy, but this is gonna take you a long time to get through if you haven't played this game before. It's gonna take you a very long time. You pretty much gotta fall the right way from each progressive screen, otherwise you're just not gonna be able to make it, really. You gotta get ahead. These are the purple Sniper Joe Walkers I was talking about that Air Shooter works so well against. It'll take them down in 1 or 2 hits. Pretty damn good. But with that, we're at the end of the stage. It is actually quite a short, simple stage if you know what you're doing. But those force beams will claim, I'd say at the very least, a dozen lives if you haven't played this game before. Incidentally, there is an easy way around the force beams, which I'll explain once I get a certain weapon later in the game. But for now, let us take on the Quick Man himself. I'll get a good charge going here because, as I mentioned, he's a tough boss. And of course, I can't keep my charge. That would be too easy, wouldn't it? He is a tough boss. Ah, jeez. He's so random. He just sort of... I missed. He just sort of runs around the screen. You can't do very much to avoid him. Oh god, I'm gonna have to use an E-Tank in a moment. No, I missed. Alright. So, the reason why I'm using an E-Tank is... Oh no, wait, actually, I'm not gonna use an E-Tank. Silly me. I'll just take the death, actually. I was about to say I'm on 0 lives, but I picked up 2 lives during the stage. I forgot about that. Yeah, Quick Man stage is actually pretty generous on lives. It's got that one at the very beginning, and then that one in that little special goodies area you can fall to down the right. It's actually fairly generous overall in lives, but it really should be, considering the difficulty of the stage. You really don't want to have to game over too many times. The fact that they give you those 2 mostly free lives. I mean, the second one's still pretty easy to get to. It's quite useful. Although, if you don't have any of the 3 items, you won't be able to get the first life, but hey, whatever. This seems to work really well against him, actually. It's doing a lot of damage. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Epic. That was amazing. Yeah, I really wouldn't recommend desperately trying to dodge Quick Man. It's just too hard. You're best just wailing on him, getting as much damage in as you can, and hopefully out-damaging him as I was attempting to do there. And it worked out for me in the end, although it's pretty damn close. Yeah, the rough terrain also in the boss fight makes it tougher than you'd hope it is. And with that, we get Pink Mega Man! Ah, you look absolutely fabulous, my friend. Absolutely fabulous in that lovely, lovely shade of pink. He looks like a great big ham. There are other weapons in the series that turn you sort of pink, but not quite so overt. Real men wear pink. No, I think it's alright. Nice, unique color. Again, really, there aren't really any other Roadmasters that turn you that color, to be honest. There are a lot of reds, and a few greens, and some blues, I guess, but not really any pinks. But yeah, Quick Boomerang. It's actually a very useful weapon. I'll show it off when we get into the next stage. But with that, our friend Quick Man is down. Poor old guy. But that, we're going to head into the 13th Robot Master, Crash Man, whose stage is pretty much a polar opposite of Quick Man's stage. While Quick Man's stage is primarily a descending stage as you avoid the force beams, Crash Man's actually the token vertical stage of the game, rather like Elecman for the first game. Although I don't enjoy this stage quite to the same degree as Elecman, but it does hold a pretty close place in my heart because I mentioned Crash Man was the first boss I reached when I first played this game. I was playing his stage a lot then, and I also got quite intoxicated by his stage music. His stage music is bit of an unusual one. It's quite funky. It's not your typical Mega Man music, to be perfectly frank. I mean, I'm not as much of a fan of it now, but I definitely really enjoyed it the first time I played the game. So here we are jumping into Crash Man's stage. He has drills for hands. Pretty cool design. Do like Crash Man. Bit of a fun fact about his name. It's actually called Clash Man in Japan because of the whole, you know, Japanese L's and R's being very similar to one another and sometimes getting a bit mixed up. So we got Tellies here immediately as we jump into the stage, and just gonna take care of them. Oh dear, this isn't looking too good, because again, they constantly respawn. There can't be more than 3 on screen at once, I will reiterate that, but they can still be trouble, that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, aesthetically this stage is a bit dull to start with, just these sort of really random green pipes on a plain blue background. You know, the plain blue background is a bit disappointing. It's more or less taking us back to the primitive backgrounds of Mega Man 1. I mean, even some of the backgrounds in Mega Man 1 had some stuff going on in them. Not so with this stage, but I guess you can't win them all. So now we have these little platforms that just follow the track around. Pretty self-explanatory. You can tell what they're going to do. You can use item 1 to skip these, to be honest. You really can. It's pretty easy, so yeah, if you've beaten Heat Man, that's a bit of your reward. I'm not going to use item 1 though, because again, Atomic Fire only. Going to try and stick to using Atomic Fire mostly, unless there's like maybe some power-ups I might want to get, like a life or something. As you can see, these tracks, they get more and more complicated. I think this one looks like a great big pile of spaghetti. Then again, all those green pipes look like a great big pile of spaghetti, don't they? Yeah, Telly's not much of a threat, but yeah, I remember I struggled with this screen a lot when I first played the game. I was just sort of finding myself sort of hard to coordinate. We got some clouds going on now, but unfortunately they're static. They're not like the ones in Airman stage, which actually have a bit of animation to them. You know, they sort of, what's the word? Oscillate in and out at the edges in Airman stage. Look at these strange little yellow ball things. They remind me of the electronic lollipops of Bomb Man's days, which is definitely a good thing, I guess. Bit of a random platform sitting there on the left, but yeah, as you can see, we're definitely climbing up into the heavens in this stage. There aren't really many vertical stages off this one in the series. It's really just Elecman and Crash Man, which is a bit of a disappointment. I wish there'd be more vertical stage in the series. So I guess it is quite unique in that regard, but I don't know. I find the design of this stage a little dull compared to Elecman's. However, as we go up here, there is a bit of an interesting change. The sky gets darker. What could this mean? And we have 2 ladders to choose from. Which one could it be? Well, I'll tell you right now, it's the right one. It is definitely the right one. And unfortunately, as we go up here, we have Pippies to deal with. I'm just going to tank the hits. It is actually possible to avoid getting hit there, even without weapons that can shoot upwards. Oh, wait, that's not quite what I wanted. I want the Pippi to come from the other side. However, it involves doing a complex jump from the left ladder to the right one. It's a bit annoying. Not the best designed. I feel like this stage was probably one of the ones the developers spent a little less time on, or didn't have quite yet finished. I don't know. The background has actually turned to night now, though, with a much nicer looking starry sky from what was before, which is a pretty cool graphical touch. It's almost like we're climbing into space. I do appreciate that. It would have been cool if we went to like proper nighttime in a Elecman stage rather than just evening. But yeah, there's an E-tank down here. So if you didn't have any items, you'd have to climb all the way up the left side for it, and then climb back down and go up the right side. Fortunately, with item 1 or item 2, you can get back up, which is very nice. So I just did that. Now, it might look like you need an item to get to that ladder over there, but you actually can make the jump. It looks like you can't, but you can, just about. And we get another 1-up. Wow, I'm really getting all these 1-ups. Unfortunately, I'm having to deal with prop tops here. How many hits do they take? Yeah, a fair few from this weapon. It's not the most effective against them, is it? Oh dear. Handling these guys can be tough. Ooh, but there we go. We're through to Crash Man. Yeah, unlike Elecman stage, we don't have a vertical boss corridor. Like I mentioned, Elecman's the only master in the series that actually has a vertically ascending boss corridor, which is a bit of a shame. I would have liked to see more in the series, but hey, whatever. Here we go, going into Crash Man's boss fight. This boss fight is actually really easy if you know what you're doing, but it can seem very chaotic if you don't. So I'm just going to stand here, and look what Crash Man does if you just do nothing. He just runs back and forth. Oh, well, okay. Eventually he attacks you, but basically, the gimmick here is that he only ever jumps when you shoot. So you have to shoot in midair and hopefully hit him. Unfortunately, there's a certain lag with the Atomic Fire, which is making it hard for me to hit him, unlike with the Mega Buster, where it would be easy. But you can see the pattern here. You just run to the left, shoots, run underneath, he misses you with the Crash Bomb, and just run underneath. And this is just the pattern you do when fighting him with the Mega Buster. It's really simple, really simple. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem to be working for me with the charge, and when I'm charging, there we go. When I'm charging, I can't get him to jump, which is very annoying. Ah, damn it. It doesn't even look like it does that much damage with a fully charged shot, so yeah, this could be a tricky boss battle. This might be the hardest thing I've had to deal with yet. Whew. You know, I'm gonna take a little break and show you the Quick Boomerang in the meantime. Here I am, Pink Mega Man. What does Quick Boomerang do? Shoots out a little boomerang, which, as expected, comes back to you. It has limited range, but it has rapid fire. I'm currently holding the fire button. You don't have to keep mashing it, unlike with other weapons, and it makes a pretty cool looking circle there, doesn't it? Or oval, really. Or you can spam it, and it actually goes a little faster. So that's the standard rate if you just hold the button, and this is when I'm spamming the fire button. As you can see, it goes a little faster. And since most enemies don't really have any invulnerability frames, you can kill enemies very quickly with this weapon. And it works against pretty much every enemy in the game. I think there might only be like 1, maybe 2 enemies it doesn't work on. So, a bit of an underrated weapon. It gets overshadowed quite a lot by Metal Blade. It's actually a very powerful weapon. Definitely a just reward for defeating a Robot Master as tough as Quickman. Alright, let's try this again. Okay, that didn't work. Let's see. Ah, I missed. That's unfortunate. Let's go for a half charge. Ah, damn, it didn't work. I don't know why it didn't work. And again, I'm really struggling to hit him with the uncharged shots. This is not easy. Okay, looks like it did 2 damage, half charge. Ah, there we go. That was a nice proper full charge. Alright, there we go. I got under him, and bam. Alright, I think that pattern might work. Just wait here on the right till it fully charges, then fire and run under him. I think that more or less does it. And yeah, when he does that, just run under him. Okay, I think I got this. Oh, wow, he's already down to 1 HP. Sweet. Okay, and there we go. Wasn't that hard, actually. Wow, I'm really plowing through this, aren't I? There's not really anything incredibly difficult. Like there was with Cutman, the first game was really tough with his own weapon, and Fireman put up a fair challenge too, but I guess in this game, Comic Fire really, you know, pelts those Robot Masters quite hard. Crash Bomber. I believe it's called Crash Bomb in the Japanese version. Again, slight difference in name, much like Crash Man to Clash Man. I'm not sure why that one is different though. It turns Mega Man a nice sort of peachy orange. Bit of a pleasant color. I guess I'll show that weapon off next time, but hey, with the defeat of Crash Man, we're down only 2 Robot Masters left, Flash and Wood, which we'll be taking on in part 4. Speaking overall for this episode and what I've done, Quickman stage, it's rather fun, but it gets a bit dull once you're good at it. Getting past those force beams is definitely the funnest part of the stage, but even then it's a bit, what's the word? Samey. There's not too many different ways you can play Quickman stage, really, is the bit of a problem. The stage looks kind of nice, but it's a little generic, you know, just sort of underground lab or whatever, but, you know, it's got some pretty cool stuff going for it, like when it turns dark, and the boss fight against Quickman is sort of poorly designed. It's just a bit too erratic and difficult. He's much too much of a spaz, really, to deal with him effectively. And that does become a bit of a problem. Nevertheless, the stage music is great, and I love Quickman's design and the whole rivalry thing with Mega Man. Because of his difficulty and that rivalry thing, I kind of like to think of Quickman as the leader of the gang in this game, the leader of these 8 Robot Masters. So, yeah, pretty cool in that regard. Crash Man stage. Yeah, I feel like it's a little dull design compared to Electman stage. I don't know. I guess it does have a good progression of difficulty with its gimmicks, you know, the 2 screens with tellies at the start, the second one builds on the first one by being a little tougher, and then those 3 screens with, like, the spaghetti platforms, you know, it works alright. I guess it's just not for my personal taste, but I do like how the background transitions from the sort of boring Blue Day to a kind of boring, kind of generic, but a little bit more interesting to look at Starry Night. Boss fight with Crash Man is either really erratic if you don't know what you're doing, or kind of boring and pedestrian if you do know what you're doing. So yeah, it's not really solid boss fight, but hey, doing it with Atomic Fire definitely did spice things up a bit. I did have to think a little more about what I was doing there. And musically, yeah, not a big fan of Crash Man stage. It's not Crash Man stage music. I guess it's not so much to my taste, but I do appreciate how unique it is for a Mega Man theme, and the opening of it is definitely pretty awesome, I must admit. And you know, there are some people that really do like it, and that is their taste. So yeah, I can appreciate it for that reason. I'd still say it's probably a little better than Heatman's theme, which again is just a bit too short and dull. But anyway, with those opinions out of the way, oh, actually, should mention Crash Man himself. Yep, cool design, like the drills for hands. Apparently he's supposed to be a really clumsy person because of it. Yeah, cool design. Really strange helmet, that visor he has. It's, yeah, kind of weird, but kind of cool at the same time. Not one of my all-time favorites, but definitely, you know, pretty good. So, yeah, now my opinions are officially out of the way. Gotta get this all out, man. All my feelings. Next time we'll be taking on Flash Man, followed by the good old Woodman, in order to wrap up the Robot Master Rumble of Mega Man 2. So I'll catch you guys then. This is Fruity, signing off.